Hi Virgo, welcome to your April forecast in pandemic edition. I just can't believe that I'm actually saying that during this reading. So by the time we get to your season, finally things will normalize, but I am afraid not before then. That's going to be the first dawn that we're going to see things. So in the meantime, we need to buckle up and we need to do what we need to do, what shelter in place, which is the best way to be responsible. Now guys, I'm trying to organize whatever, couple of occasions at the very least, a fireside chat. Would like to know what is of interest to you, if this is of interest to you at all. And what kind of topics would you like to cover, because I don't want this to be a reading, so I just do everything. And this is going to be more like interactive, and it could be video or audio. You can choose how you really want to participate. And it's simply kind of like being support to each other. And instead of like just having whatever loosey-goosey kind of like coaching / therapy meetings, let's make it a topic. And one person already offered that she can actually demonstrate yoga, which I think would be fantastic to do something like that. So it has to be kind of like really thought through how to do it technology wise, and also want to see what is of interest to you. And if you guys are not subscriber and something like this interests you, then subscribe, because only that way you are going to get the invitations. So let's start. You are having the cat, the fool. It's reversed. Just make sure, and this is you. This is like your card, 9 of Pentacles, but it was reversed as well. So this is really telling me that, you know, maybe you're feeling dazed and confused kind of a thing. It's thing that is really irritating Virgos the most, like whole life you live life trying to take every little step like Lego blocks, and finally creating this like full freaking puzzle, whole little kind of like a castle, and then something like this happens and we don't really know how to react. We don't know how to go in this direction. It's really hard on us. It's really kind of hard how we kind of like communicate this kind of desires, right? So let's see what else. You have also Earth Kitten reversed. This is clearly you are not having it. No strangers, stay at a distance from me. This is really clear. You're probably more panicky than any other sign. You're probably already bunkered up. You don't want to see people. You're wearing a mask, shawl, whatever, and good for you. That's really good way to go. And you're a very health oriented sign. We just went through full moon in Virgo. I was predicting something like this is going to take this whole massive pandemic thing. If you haven't heard my astrology, at the very end of this video it's going to be the link, so I suggest you check that. So this is being crossed with Sea Queen. So you understand that even though you're out of balance, somebody knock you off your feet, that you still, that there are two aspects to it. One is physical on the outside and one is emotional on the inside. So you're keeping it really nicely together. You are keeping that emotion solid. You also have a lot to give. It almost looks like all of these times that you were kind of creating the step by step, creating this like process that would work, is now basically you're realizing that other people just don't have it together, and that your strengths and everything that you have learned throughout your life creating all the structure is actually really needed, and that you can actually provide something in the situation. And you're having 10 of Earth. You're like, and this is kind of like stepping back, you're saying just the close ones to me, and even these close ones, like, I mean, take your role, except you're really close to me like a child. Don't come close to me, stay away from me. It's like, look, shelter in place for every single one. But nonetheless, 10 of Pentacles is upright over here, which is really talking about that family is really extremely important for you during these trying times. And then we have the Chariot in the past. So this is that emotional component that I see in the Sea Queen and Chariot. Chariot is like something that is like emotion. Something was taking speed. Something was developing. This could be business. Chariot is really good for business. It could be that somebody was arriving to your life, that you felt really energized with this, right? But nonetheless, it kind of like feels, oh my freaking God, now I cannot do it, right? It just like, it felt that something was blossoming and now what to do. It's almost like you're running and then you realize, oh my gosh, this bridge is broken. Will I be able to step on the brakes before I go through it, right? And look at this, we have another queen. So why are there two queens over here? And both of them are upright. Could it be that you are in one of those blended families where now the family is becoming much bigger, because it's not only your bloodline, but it's also the bloodline of somebody you live with? That can actually indicate that. This could be simply meaning that you have a lady friend, this kind of like type of relationship, or simply can talk about girlfriends. And the noise that you're hearing in the background is almost like that combat. Like, I mean, there is like a little window spot that I have. I'm on the 3rd floor, and on that window spot used to be cat window, and they would sit there and look what's going on. But since I got a doggo, he wants that spot. So now that was a debate between a cat and a dog who's taking it. And Sapphie is usually easygoing, and she lets Tiger share the space with her. But Matrix is not so easygoing, so he did kind of like put in 2 cents, and he didn't want to give up his spot. So, and he won. So that is obviously relevant to this, because usually you don't just read cards, you read everything that is happening at this time, because it is an energy exchange of one reason or another. So because you had these two queens at the same time, I had the situation happening in the background during the reading, it means it's going to be lots of positioning. And the struggle is really not important at all. It could be kind of like joint kind of a thing over here, but there is like this still they're like energies that are very different, and they are like feeling very different. One is like very emotional energy, and the one is like doing energy. This also could mean that is representing different facets of you during this upcoming month. And you also have the wheel, and this is kind of like mirroring this Chariot. This is actually really lovely, that this combination of things that you're going to propose is going to really come through. And honestly, I almost like wish that immunologist who is working on a vaccine is Virgo, because that would kind of like give a really good boost for creating that vaccine. In your house, you have Demon Cat. It's kind of weird. Now we have like on 3 sides this triangle here with major arcanas. This is representing Capricorn, but it can represent all the bad habits that we have. Maybe certain things are driving you insane, maybe just simply because you're so close for such extended period of time with all your close ones that it's driving you nuts. Oh my gosh, you're eating meat. Oh my gosh, you're like eating crap. Oh my gosh, blah blah blah. Anything like that. Or hey, you didn't wipe these things off. Why you didn't wipe it off? Didn't you know this is a matter of life and death? People are dying. It's kind of like you are really driven insane. Be very careful. This is a little bit of obsessive energy. This is a little bit of being too perfect energy. Like kind of like you might be driving other people nuts. Everything you're doing is actually correct. You are in a very protective state. Look, you have these 2 tents. You are kind of organizing things because this is your MO. You really know what is needed. But everybody else is like la 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 la, like it as it called. They really don't care. They kind of like really go through a situation. Let's really check your environment. That's right. They're kind of like, oh, held the caution up in the air, right? Look at this, Ace of Pentacles is now reversed, coming through. They kind of like don't realize that this is something long term, and this is not necessarily just the moment in time, but it's going to be the entire future we are doing right now, which is going to have long consequences. It takes a long time for this oak to become this thick, right, and to leave a mark on this planet. 400, 500 years. So there's like something that's happening which is not happening. It's not happening because people are not doing what they're expected to do. And I really think this is what is driving you nuts over here. So let me see what we even have in hopes and fears. You are really defending your turf. You really don't give a crap. Look at that. Look at these kitties that are attacking this kitty. Oh, come on. Give us clarity. Anyway, you'll see 3 cats over there that are trying to take this positioning from this kitty cat here. But this kitty cat here is saying, I am on a better turf. I can take a swipe and have 3 of you in one swipe. So this is really, really important here, right? So this is in hopes and fears, which means that you are kind of like balancing, kind of like defending your attitude with, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to go there? So I guess that's why the family is here. You're saying like, I'm going to figure out what is important, which battles I'm going to fight, and I'm also going to decide what is not important. Luck is on your side. This is really, really good. This is one of the situations where you can actually make this influence. So if you are thinking, just think again, because you actually can really make a difference in spite of what being told and people in your way, people going in all directions. You are that gel. You are that mortar. You can actually put things together. Yeah, just be patient. 7 of Earth. It's really showing up. So we have like now 4 Earth, 5 Earth cards. So you are really going to feel grounded. Like you are really now that calm in the storm. You are really kind of a person that we really need in this situation. And you might actually be joined by thanks Sapphie for knocking it off. You might be joined as you can see, I'm being joined with another person who will be helpful, who will be carrying some burdens, and it could be somebody from your own family, and somebody who can really work collaboratively with you. So it's going to be dual roles. One is going to be, hey, shoulder to fall, kind of like, hey, you know, tell me all about it, while another person is going to be organizers and doer and kind of like, let's do this stuff. So let me clarify this demon cat over here. Why is this there? Right, Sarah? Clarify this? Do you like Virgos? Yeah? How much? How much? How much do you like Virgos? Let's see this demon cat. And I know you freaked out that a cat is on the table, but cat is on the table. This is Cat Tarot. So look at this. Demon cat is about reunions. It's about, again, fortune is showing up. It's about somebody with a kid. Wife is a very interesting card. So if you're married, maybe you are dealing with somebody who maybe strayed away, maybe who's simply kind of like, maybe you've been going through trial separations and you're like waiting to see what's going to happen out of it. This is going to be a very fortunate time, but this is also telling you that you really need to be careful of not fall in a trap of old habits. Certain things need to change. Just coming back and fusing, it's not going to resolve the problem. Things need to be different. Things need to be changed, and it's going to be very important for you to know this, right? Let me also see this. Why is this hesitancy of moving forward and looking that as a long-term process? Because this needs to turn around. There's like somebody who feels, I cannot measure up over here, right? Because there's somebody who's like, as much as like you are showing the strengths, they're like feeling even weaker than ever, right? Almost like feeling overpowered. So let's see, what is this all about here? Now look at this. It's joyfulness, old woman, and enemy. Old woman to me could mean old lady. It could simply mean like this is a crowd, and that there is like somebody else. Maybe there's like somebody who has somebody on the side, and maybe this is why at the stage you're saying, I cannot deal with that crap. I have enough on my plate as it is. I need to keep myself sane. I need to keep my family sane. Tomorrow is another day, kind of a thing, and I really need to kind of like think through all of that. It almost looks to me that you're so able to prioritize things and kind of like take aside a personal from this, but nonetheless there's like still a sub story going in the background which you're really well aware of. And look at this 7 is mirroring this 7, this major arcana is mirroring this major arcana over here. So it's really, really important to see it. And we are going from 6 to 7. The energies are moving forward. You're going to be one of those signs. I mean, you have 3 7 7 7 7, which that repetition of these spiritual numbers, and I don't know if you see them in your everyday, and especially you should probably be seeing 7s. Something spiritual is happening. There is a spiritual shift, but not of a bad kind, because Tower in tarot is also 7 vibration, but you didn't get Tower. You're getting that wise decisions are going to be important, that maybe advice of your mother or even some maternal figure in your family will be really, really beneficial, right? For some of you, reunion is in the cards. Maybe somebody strayed away, now you're coming, but just make sure if you fuse that things are clarified and they're like crystal clear, you know, crystal clear. Not just, oh, I'm so happy to have you back and this is such a no. Don't make things worse. It's very important. Bide your time. It is coming. This is very important. Find what works, find what cannot be workable, and make sure that you try to fix the things that are not workable and figure out how these elements can be made to work. I have pulled one more card here for you, and why I'm not surprised. Perfection. This is really interesting. This is talking about this woman who really prides, who is really proud that she is telling quote-unquote truth to everybody. So she would say, you know, hey, you know, you need to lose some weight. It's going to help your health. Or, you know, you need to dress better, more like I'm in the mood. It's going to help your stuff. So she feels that she's waking people up from their cluelessness, and they need to face this cold hard truth. And when they do, they can spring to action, right? This truth will set you free, kind of a person. But she's also realizing that people are staying away from her, and they're not all of a sudden, like you see, there's like this second voice that is trying to come out. They started to tell her, and she's like starting to feel lonely. And she kind of like is looking in a meditation, asking, so what is going on? What is the answer? And the answer says, hey, you know, honesty without kindness is actually cruelty. So she all of a sudden have that paradigm shift, and she says, oh my goodness, was it really not only not helpful but hurtful to the people? Maybe, you know, when time is right, the teacher appears. Was it really difficult one instead of me being the helpful one? But at the same time, she is really too hard on herself because of the situation. So I don't know which part of the story you relate to. Is it like you have been on the receiving end of somebody like that, or you have been somebody like that, or you want to be with somebody like that, but you did manage to step back because of social, you know, norms and whatnot. So if you're being too hard on yourself, then maybe you are being consequently hard on others. So that's really important. You need to look for what is right and good in your world, and you need to feed off that, because you'll be getting this big dosage of luck, infusion of luck. Also, you need to really figure out where you're presently focusing. These two cards are saying, you know, bide your time, your time is coming. But seeking perfection is going to basically take you in the opposite direction of your desire to find love. You need to have certain acceptance of other people's uniqueness, and sometimes this uniqueness is imperfection. That is what is actually making it really beautiful, and I think that's going to be the paradigm shift, right? So knowing what is right is, and telling others what you think they should be doing, is not necessarily the best way of being. So you're going to kind of like have a completely different packaging, I would say, by the end of the month. You are going to realize that, hey, you know what, I am an adult in the room, and if you're not doing that, well, maybe you didn't do your research, maybe you didn't do that. But you know what, I'm not going to be an adult for you. You need to measure up with me. To me, I want somebody equal, or what's the point? I just don't need another child. And this is why you're really defending your turf, but you are not really attacking. Maybe this is why I see the chariot. The chariot is like full-blown attack. Really, you're going into that. Maybe this is what is showing the conflict. But this conflict is, and that maybe this is why somebody's saying, oh, I don't know if we should go there, kind of a thing. But bide your time. Instead of going into that full frontal, just do things that are really working for you. And that's all you can do and should do at this stage. Like, you shouldn't compromise your values when it comes to you, because maybe you have done that, and maybe that really bothered you, maybe that kind of like affected you. But clearly when it comes to somebody else and how they behave, take it with a grain of salt. This is their life. You're not responsible for their life, and that is very, very important. So my dear Virgo, would love to get comments from you, especially if you want to join this fireside chat, because again, you're organized, you are like Duran Shaker, you have your stuff together. Will be good to hear. Tomorrow is at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday is my live chat where I kind of like do the weekly tarot, but I also kind of like collect to the crowd. And as I said, if you really want to be part of that fireside chat, please subscribe, because only that's going to be the way you can find out the message, how and when that's organized. And what you want in that, let me know. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and your opinions. And you guys kind of like hold everybody together. It's really important that somebody has their crap together as you do. And you know that I love you. So take care, and onward and upward, right? As they say. Love you.